Welcome back to CAD 200, and in this lesson we're going to stay in the 3D wireframing modeling. We're going to talk about a little bit more of the UCS system, user coordinate system, and the world system here today. We're going to draw this one in 3D, so go to AutoCAD, and I want to start me a brand new one, File New, and that way I can bring in a template. And again, folks, make sure that you're in your 3D modeling workspace, okay? And what that is down here, 3D modeling. That's the workspace you should be in. I'm going to change this to 1-to-1, but also, if you don't have these tools up here, you can always, again, do the drop down, go to mine says hide menu, but when it takes it off, when you click on it, it'll say show menu, and you can go in here to your tools, and then go to toolbars, AutoCAD, and then you can add in the tools that I have, Orbit, UCS, and View. Because whenever you switch your UCS workspace, or not UCS, but your workspace, if I go back to drafting and annotations, it will get rid of all my little tool tabs, okay? And whenever you go back and forth. So that's just a little something there for you that'll help you out with it. We got this little drawing up here today. Actually, it's this one right here. I want to right click. I want to do a save image as. And the only reason I want to do this is so that I can bring it up over here on the side as I draw. If you got a multiple screen, that is so nice. If you have 2 monitors. And most companies do that. They have multiple. They may even have 3 monitors, but it helps you in your productivity. So I bring this up, and I want to start drawing this in a 3D model. I like to go up here in my views, go to Southeast Isometric. I like to turn it to see my X and Y. Now, when you're drawing, you're always drawing on the XY plane. That's the reason that you have these user coordinate systems, that you can change that coordinate system and that plane to work on. But if you want to go back to world coordinates, always there. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But anyways, let's start this one out. I want to do a rectangle 3 by 2. I had to draw that in because it's missing some information. But anyhow, this is in your book. You can go to your book, and this is the tutorial that's in there. So it's in chapter 4. But I want to go in here and start drawing this. Rectangle 0, 0, and this thing is 3 for X, 2 for Y. So I've got that in there. And again, I want to go ahead and make myself up my 3D portion of it. I'll add my depth, and I'll just do a copy, catch that, right click, center point, and I want to at 0, 0, X and Y 0, and then comma 2.25. And again, you notice I hit at. I didn't have to, that was 0, 0, but it's just a habit I have whenever I'm doing those types of things. Bring that in there just like that. And I always like to do a little orbit just to make sure everything looks good. Looks great to me. So now, let's do some work on this. I want to turn it to its side. I want this right here, this 4 corners right here. I want this to be my XY plane right here. So I come up here to 3 point in my UCS. The first point you click on will start your X. This is the direction of X. And then the next point up would be your Y. And see, here's your Y, here's your X. Now, if you'll notice, when I draw, I'm drawing on my XY UCS. You see that? All right. So with that done, I want to take my line, and I'll come right up through here, straight up, 0.75, enter. And I'm coming back at it's showing a 90 degree. This right here, actually, folks, is a 30 degree line right here. So this is a 30-degree line. So hit your UCS down here, or not you, but your polar tracking, got on 30. So right there's my 30. Come up here and make sure you click on that line. It snaps to it. And then I want to come down through here, and this is going to be, they're going to be 90 degrees between the two of these, okay? So click. I left it on that 30, 60, 90. Let's just go in here, and I want to do an annotation, and I want to check that angle and make sure it is a 90. It is. Worked out perfect. So what I could go ahead and do is just snap from here. Make sure it snaps perpendicular. Y'all see that? Bring this one over. Make sure it snaps perpendicular. Make sure this one snaps perpendicular. Snaps there. Just connecting the dots is all you're doing. Now let's trim out what we don't need. I don't need that. It's not going to let me trim it, and that's okay. So I don't need this whole top anymore because we've got all that took care of. If it's not letting you trim, just go in there and grab everything, pull it down. You can use your grips to do that. And make sure it snaps when you bring it down, because if it doesn't snap, sometimes it'll put lines out in space, and just orbit it every now and then so it looks okay. All right, so we've got that much. Now what I want to do is probably go ahead and go use this right here. Make this my work plane. Hit 3-point, catch there to there's my X, and then here's my Y. There's my UCS. I got it working. Looks good. And now I want to put in that 0.2, 0.2. So again, line, I'm just going to go from here, follow up through here, 0.2. All right, I've got it. And then I want to set my polar tracking at 45 and just bring it down like that. That's fine. Come over here because this is the XY plane. We've got that on there, so this is flat. We're drawing flat. It'll follow that 0.2 over and coming down, find that 45. Y'all see that? There's that 45. So I made a cross there on it, and I just got to trim it out. All right. So we trimmed all that, got it looking really nice and neat. All right. So we might as well go ahead while we're in here. As long as you're snapping with points and then perpendicular, that's perfect there. Perfect there. It's looking really, really good. Okay. Now, what we got to do is we've got a couple of the things. We've got this little angle here on both sides, and this thing's got to come all the way down through here to toward the back. And there's a couple ways that you can do this. I hit line, and the thing of it is, you think you're drawing, going that direction, but if you hit your 3D and turned around, see how it follows that XY plane that you got. So we'll put that line in just a minute. Let's go ahead and get this set up. And again, if you want to go back to your original XY Z coordinate system, the world coordinate, click on it and it puts you back to your original XYZ. And I'm going to go ahead and put this little section in right here, and I'll click this and I want to explode it and modify, explode, and hit my line, and I want to come over 0.75 right there, and then this is 30 degrees, so I'll kick on my 30. That's 30 degrees right there. You might want to check it though. It's always a good thing to check it don't cost you a dime to check it, and it helps you out in the long run. So that's perfect. I'll go ahead and put me a line, snap that line and bring it straight up. Make sure you're going to snap it to the right location. It's wanting to go to that, but now I want to make sure that it's snapping right where it needs to be. Okay. Bring this one up, snap it perpendicular, then tie those two together, and then you just trim out the unnecessary parts. And sometimes things won't let you, I bet it'll trim it out now. I just had that extra line in there. So there we got that much of it, and we need to take and put it on the other side. Now I can honestly grab this and do a mirror, which would be really helpful. We'll do a mirror, catch that midpoint to that midpoint. And it didn't work the way that I wanted it to, because that's not the midpoint of the whole thing anymore. But it will do this. I'll catch that, and I will do a mirror, and this I'll catch this back here, and then I'll come up here perpendicular, and it'll work. You have to have the full line, and I hit it perpendicular. Enter. That looks a lot better. And you can go ahead and just make sure that you're snapping to that line perpendicular. Make sure this one's coming all the way up here. Make sure it's just catching there, and then bring it down to there. And then you want to trim everything out. Okay? Orbit as you go, just to make sure everything's looking up to spec. It's looking pretty good. I'll go back to southeast isometric look. And now we've got to put in this line here. Okay? Coming down through here at that angle. And there's different things that you can do to get that and bring it back. This is one thing that I would recommend to do, because I'd grab this, and I'm going to do a copy. Okay? And 3D move, there's 3D rotate, and then here's copy. Do a copy, catch that point, and then catch that point back right there, just like that. And now you can tie those points together, just like that. So we've got that in there just like that. And turn it around. But the thing of it is, this is going to have to be stretched all the way down to there. Okay? And let's go ahead and see if we can get that to work. We're going to do a stretch. Okay. When I do this stretch, what I want to do is I'm going to take and do my 3-point. Now you can also go to the side view of it just like that and see how it makes your XY plane fall on that. I'll take and turn it, and that's one of the beauties of this is if you do use these tools, you can go to the front, the bottom, whatever, and it'll always be on your XY plane. So I'll turn to that side, and then I have my XY. All I have to do is do an extension on it. use extend, click to the line you want to extend to, and then click on that, and it will shoot that down for you. Okay? So now I can look at it. I shot that one down there, and all I have to do to finish up is connect the dots to that endpoint, back up there. These lines go out. They help me get what I had to have. And there's that V block. And then you're just going to trim out the pieces that you don't want. That line's acting a little strange. But I'm just going to delete that out, and I'll put a new line in there. That way I know it's exactly right on. So there is the basics. And of course, I'm missing a line back here. Just make sure you snap those. That is the basics of 3D wireframing. It's not too bad. It does play tricks with your eyes, but you need to do this one in your tutorial, and then you'll also have a couple other drawings to do in your exercises. If you need any help with this, don't hesitate to contact me.